The war did not begin with fire. It began with silence. Across the Orion Reach, alien fleets moved with calm confidence. They had done this many times before. One world after another had fallen the same way. First came the warning, then came the demand, and finally, destruction. Earth received the warning on a quiet day. The message was short and cold. Humanity was told to surrender all orbital defenses, shut down its fleets, and prepare for occupation. The alien coalition believed Earth was weak. Compared to ancient galactic powers, humanity was young, divided, and slow. They expected fear. Instead, Earth asked for time. 7 days. The coalition commanders laughed. 7 days meant nothing. Earth's known fleets were small, outdated, and scattered across nearby systems. Their scanners showed no hidden armadas, no secret shipyards, no signs of danger. So they waited. On Earth, cities did not panic. There were no mass evacuations, no public speeches full of fear. Governments went silent. Military channels went dark. Even deep space traffic slowed, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. High above Earth, in orbit, the alien fleet began to assemble. Massive warships formed perfect lines. Energy weapons warned. Fighters launched patrols. Everything was prepared for a quick and clean conquest. Observers across the galaxy watched closely. Humanity was about to learn its place. On the 6th day, something strange happened. Deep space sensors picked up a distortion far beyond Earth's orbit. It was not a jump signature. It was not a known engine type. The signal was slow, heavy, and massive. Like space itself was being pushed aside. Alien commanders ordered scans. Nothing appeared. They increased sensitivity. Still nothing. Then the distortion grew larger. The fleet grew uneasy. Veteran captains felt something was wrong, but no data could explain it. There was no heat, no energy spike, no visible object. Just pressure. On Earth, underground facilities came alive. Lights turned on in places no map showed. Ancient-looking control rooms buried beneath oceans and continents. Activated after decades of silence, human officers moved calmly. No shouting, no panic. This moment had been planned long ago. In orbit, the alien fleet finally reacted when their sensors screamed all at once. Space ahead of them bent, stretched, and then tore open like fabric under stress. What emerged was not fast. It was not elegant. It was enormous. At first, commanders thought it was a space station. Then they realized it was moving. Slowly. Deliberately. A structure larger than any ship ever recorded slid into real space. Its surface was dark, scarred, and layered with armor plates thicker than cruisers. Long flat decks stretched for kilometers. Massive towers rose from its center, covered in weapons that had no known design. Fire bays opened like mouths along its sides. Hundreds of small craft poured out. Then thousands. The alien fleet froze. Their scanners finally caught up, and the data made no sense. The object was classified as a carrier, but its mass exceeded entire battle groups. Power readings climbed beyond known limits. Shield layers stacked one over another, each stronger than capital ship defenses. This was not a carrier. This was a moving fortress. The alien flagship attempted communication. Its captain demanded identification, his voice sharp but controlled. The response came from Earth. It was calm, clear. "Human, this is Earth Defense Command. You are currently blocking a restricted launch zone. Move your fleet immediately." For a moment, no one spoke. Then the alien captain laughed, trying to regain control. He ordered his fleet to power weapons, believing intimidation would restore order. The human voice returned. "You were given 7 days. This is day 6. More distortions appeared. Not one. Several. Behind the massive carrier. Smaller, but still enormous ships emerged. Escort vessels, gun platforms, and command ships formed into position with perfect precision. They moved like they had trained for this moment for centuries. The alien fleet began to reposition. But it was too late. Human fighters reached them first. They did not rush. They did not swarm blindly. They moved in clean patterns, disabling sensors, communication arrays, and engines with exact strikes. Alien ships went dark without explosions, drifting helplessly. The carrier's weapons did not fire yet. It simply watched. Observers across the galaxy felt a chill. This was not chaos. This was control. On Earth, a senior human commander stood in a quiet room, looking at the tactical display. The hidden Supercarrier had a name known to very few. It was built when humanity first realized the galaxy would not be kind. It was not meant to conquer. It was meant to end wars before they truly began. As The alien fleet struggled to understand what they were facing. One truth became clear. Earth had never been defenseless. It had only been patient. And now, the galaxy was watching as humanity finally stepped out of the shadows. The alien fleet did not collapse all at once. At first, confusion ruled the battlefield. Orders overlapped. Communication channels filled with broken signals. Some ships tried to retreat, others pushed forward, believing aggression would restore control. None of it worked. Human fighters moved with quiet discipline. They did not chase fleeing ships. They did not celebrate early success. Each squad followed a clear pattern, striking only what mattered most. Engines failed. Weapon systems shut down. Command bridges went dark. The alien flagship finally fired. A bright beam of energy tore through space and struck the human supercarrier shields. Observers expected a reaction, a flare, a crack, something. Nothing happened. The beam faded, swallowed by layered shields that did not even flicker. Silence spread through the alien command decks. Their strongest weapon had done nothing. The human carrier responded, not with fire, but with movement. It rotated slowly, revealing rows of massive cannons hidden along its underside. Each weapon was larger than an alien destroyer. Power levels rose, steady and controlled. The alien commanders felt fear for the first time. Still, they ordered a full assault. Dozens of alien capital ships advanced, releasing waves of fighters and drones. Space filled with energy trails and weapon fire. The attack was fast and violent, driven by panic more than strategy. Human escorts moved to intercept. They did not match the aliens in speed, but they did not need to. Their formations held. Point defense systems activated, creating invisible walls of fire. Alien fighters vanished mid-flight, erased before they could adjust. Then the carrier fired. One cannon, a single shot crossed space and struck the nearest alien battleship. There was no explosion at first. The ship simply stopped. Its lights went out. Its shields collapsed inward. A moment later, the hull folded like thin metal under pressure, breaking apart without flame. The message was clear. More shots followed, not rapidly, not wildly. Each shot removed one enemy ship from the battlefield. The alien fleet began to fall apart. Some ships attempted to jump away, while human disruption fields locked space around them. Jump drives failed. Navigation systems reset endlessly. Escape became impossible. On Earth, military leaders watched without celebration. They had expected this outcome. What surprised them was how little resistance there truly was. Humanity had studied alien warfare for decades. Every tactic, every pattern, every weakness. The galaxy believed humans were slow learners. They were wrong. Aboard the alien flagship, the senior commander ordered a retreat protocol. It was not fear-driven anymore. It was survival instinct. Before the order could be completed, a human escort ship moved into position directly in front of the flagship. It did not fire. Instead, a communication channel opened. The same calm human voice spoke again. This battle is over. Power down your weapons. You will not be destroyed. The alien commander hesitated. He had never heard mercy offered from a weaker species. Pride screamed at him to refuse. Logic told him resistance was pointless. He gave the order. Across the battlefield, alien ships began shutting down systems one by one. Weapons cooled. Engines went silent. The chaos slowed into uneasy stillness. The human fleet held position. No cheers. No movement forward. Just control. Galactic observers struggled to understand what they were witnessing. Humanity had not crushed its enemy completely. It had stopped them with precision, then paused. That confused the galaxy more than violence ever could. On the carrier's command deck, human officers monitored surrender signals. Prisoner containment systems activated. Recovery teams prepared to secure disabled ships. One officer asked the question many were thinking. Should we advance? The commander shook his head. No. Let them see restraint. He knew reputation mattered more than destruction. Fear alone created endless enemies. Control created balance. Far beyond the battlefield, messages spread across galactic networks. The footage could not be hidden. Entire fleets disabled. A hidden supercarrier revealed. Human technology far beyond expectations. Old powers began to worry. Younger species began to hope. On Earth, people finally learned the truth. Governments released limited information. Not everything, just enough. Humanity had prepared in silence because it had learned early that survival required patience. While others expanded outward, humans had built inward. Deeper, smarter, stronger. The Supercarrier was not the only secret. It was just the first to be shown. As alien prisoners were secured and the battlefield stabilized, the human fleet remained calm. There was no rush to declare victory, because humanity knew this moment would change everything. The galaxy would not forget what it had seen. And soon, others would come, not to conquer Earth, but to test it. The galaxy did not sleep after the battle. News traveled faster than ships. Data streams carried images of the massive human carrier, frozen alien fleets, and calm human commands. Every major power watched the recordings again and again, searching for errors. There were none. In ancient councils and modern stations, leaders argued. Some demanded immediate action. Others urged caution. Humanity had shattered old assumptions, and fear spread where confidence once lived. For centuries, the galaxy believed one truth: power came from age. The oldest empires ruled because they had survived the longest. Humanity broke that rule in a single day. Diplomatic ships began moving toward Earth, not warships. Messengers. Earth noticed everything. Human sensors tracked every vessel, every transmission, every silent observer hiding in deep space. Nothing approached unnoticed. The human fleet remained in orbit, its massive carrier still visible. It did not retreat. It did not advance. It simply existed, a reminder that Earth was no longer small. Inside the captured alien flagship, the commander sat in a containment chamber. He was treated with care, not cruelty. Medical teams monitored his condition. He was given food compatible with his species. This disturbed him more than chains ever could. He had expected humiliation, pain, execution. Instead, humans asked questions. They wanted to know why the coalition believed Earth was weak. Who had spread that belief? Which empire supported the invasion? The alien answered slowly at first, then more openly. He realized lies were useless. Humans already knew more than he expected. What shocked him most was this: the invasion was not approved by the highest galactic authority. It was a test, a gamble by regional powers hoping to crush a rising species before it became a threat. Human leaders listened carefully. They did not react with anger. They reacted with understanding. Across Earth, military planners adjusted strategies. The Supercarrier was only one piece of a much larger defense network. Hidden shipyards, deep space arrays, and silent fleets waited for orders that might never come. Humanity preferred peace, but it prepared for everything else. As diplomatic ships arrived at the edge of Earth's space, they were stopped, not aggressively, politely. Each vessel was asked to wait. Earth was not ready to speak yet. This silence made the galaxy uneasy. Some feared humanity was planning revenge. Others feared isolation. A few began to hope Earth might change the balance of power in their favor. Among younger species, quiet admiration grew. Humans had faced invasion and responded with control, not rage. In the days that followed, more fleets gathered far from Earth. They did not attack. They observed. Old empires studied the human carrier's design, trying to guess how many more existed. They failed, because the carrier was not the peak of human engineering. It was a symbol. One night on Earth, the senior commander walked alone through a quiet facility. Screens showed stars, fleets, and possible futures. He understood what this moment meant. Humanity could no longer hide. Every choice from now on would shape the galaxy. He ordered the release of a single message, sent across all known channels. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a statement. Earth seeks no conquest. We will defend ourselves. We will protect our space. Any who come in peace will be met with peace. The message ended there. Simple, clear. The galaxy reacted in silence. Then responses came slowly. Some worlds sent greetings. Some sent questions. Some sent nothing at all. A few sent warnings. Deep within an ancient empire, far older than any human nation, leaders watched the footage in anger. They had ruled for thousands of years without challenge. Humanity's rise threatened the order they controlled. They began to move, not openly, quietly. On the human carrier, sensors detected unusual activity at the edge of known space. Fleets repositioning, energy signatures hidden behind stars, patterns that suggested preparation. Human analysts shared one conclusion: the real test had not yet begun. The battle near Earth had been a message. Now the galaxy would answer, and when it did, humanity would need more than a single carrier. It would need unity. Far from Earth, beyond mapped routes and trade lanes, an ancient empire began to wake. Its leaders had ruled long before humanity learned to write. Their fleets were old, vast, and feared. They did not rush into war. They believed time itself was their greatest weapon. They called themselves the First Dominion. To them, Earth was not an enemy. It was a problem. Problems were removed. Instead of attacking, the Dominion sent observers. Stealth vessels slipped through dark space, hiding behind radiation storms and dead stars. They watched human ship movements, communication patterns, and energy use. What they saw disturbed them. Human fleets did not move like others. They showed restraint, coordination, and patience. They avoided waste. They avoided fear-based decisions. This was not the behavior of a young species on Earth. Analysts noticed the shadows almost immediately. Human sensors did not rely on one system. They layered detection methods, mixing physics, mathematics, and predictive behavior. The First Dominion was being watched. Earth did not reveal this knowledge. Instead, human leadership debated their next step. Some argued for full disclosure, showing the galaxy everything humanity possessed. Others warned that fear would unite enemies faster than hope. The senior commander listened. Then he chose the middle path. A small human fleet was dispatched to the edge of contested space. It did not cross borders. It did not provoke. It simply waited. The First Dominion noticed. To them, this was an insult, a challenge made without words. They responded with force, without warning. A Dominion strike group destroyed a neutral relay station near human space. No humans were harmed, but the message was clear. Power speaks. Humanity answered by doing nothing. Days passed. The galaxy watched closely. Some believed Earth was afraid. Others suspected something else. Then the Dominion made its mistake. A second strike targeted a human listening post in deep space. The attack was fast, precise, and brutal. The station was destroyed. Within seconds, the human response began. Not near Earth, everywhere. Hidden fleets activated across multiple systems. Ships that had never appeared on any registry moved into position. Defense arrays powered up around allied worlds. Humanity had quietly supported for years. The Supercarrier near Earth did not move because it did not need to. Human Command issued one order across secure channels. Phase 1 active. The Dominion strike group vanished. Not exploded. Vanished. Their ships were pulled into artificial gravity wells, trapped and dismantled piece by autonomous systems no one had seen before. The process was silent and fast. Dominion commanders stared at empty sensor screens, unable to understand how an entire group disappeared without a battle. The galaxy felt fear return. But this time, it was not directed at Earth alone. It was directed at the unknown. Humanity did not announce its actions. It released no footage, no message. Only one fact became clear. Earth could reach far beyond its borders. The First Dominion held emergency councils. They argued for escalation, for total war. Others warned that they had underestimated a species that had learned quietly for centuries. Their pride won. They prepared a massive fleet, one meant to crush Earth completely and restore fear. Human intelligence detected the movement early. The senior commander watched fleet projections in silence. The numbers were overwhelming, even with humanity's hidden strength. The coming conflict would test everything. Then another message arrived. It was not from an empire. It was from smaller worlds, species that had suffered under the Dominion's rule, species that had watched Earth stand its ground and show restraint. They offered support. Not fleets. Information, supply routes, weak points, hidden history. Humanity listened. This was not an alliance born of treaties. It was born of hope. As the Dominion fleet advanced, the galaxy realized something important. Earth was not trying to replace old rulers. It was breaking the cycle. On the human carrier, officers prepared for something new. Not defense, not warning strikes. They prepared for a war that would decide whether fear or cooperation ruled the stars. And this time, humanity would not stand alone. The war began across many stars at once. The First Dominion did not strike Earth directly. Instead, it attacked worlds that had shown quiet support for humanity. Trade hubs burned. Defense stations fell. Civilian routes were cut. The message was clear. Stand with Earth and suffer. Human Command watched the reports in silence. Losses were expected. Pain was part of war. What mattered was response. Human fleets moved, not in one wave, not in chaos. They moved in layers. Fast response groups protected evacuation routes. Heavier ships reinforced vulnerable systems. Autonomous defense grids activated around allied worlds. Systems humanity had helped quietly for years without claiming control. For the first time, many species saw human ships arrive not as conquerors, But as shields, the Dominion fleet advanced steadily, confident in numbers. Their war doctrine relied on overwhelming force. Break resistance quickly. Crush morale. It failed. Human forces did not meet them head-on. They pulled Dominion fleets into regions of space carefully prepared long before. Gravity distortions, sensor fog, and communication traps turned strength into confusion. Small human task groups struck supply lines. Fuel depots vanished. Command ships went silent. The Dominion responded with brutality. Entire colonies were erased to send a message. Billions died in flashes of light. The galaxy screamed, on Earth. The senior commander closed his eyes as casualty reports arrived. He had hoped restraint would limit suffering. He had been wrong. Humanity adapted. A new order went out. Protect civilians at all cost. Human fleets began taking risks no other power would. Ships jumped into unstable zones to extract refugees. Carriers absorbed fire meant for cities. Crews fought not for territory, but for lives. Losses mounted. Human ships were destroyed. Experienced officers died. Names were recorded quietly, without ceremony, but morale did not break. It hardened. Across the galaxy, something changed. Worlds that had stayed silent began to act. Resistance movements rose within Dominion-controlled space. Old empires hesitated, unsure which side history would favor. The first Dominion noticed too late. Their enemy was no longer just humanity. It was belief. On the human supercarrier, damage reports came in. The ship had taken hits it was never meant to face alone. Shields flickered under sustained fire. Systems strained. Still, it held. The commander knew the truth. This war could not be won by endurance alone. A decision had to be made. Deep beneath Earth's surface, sealed vaults opened for the first time. Technology humanity had sworn never to use was brought online. Not weapons of destruction, weapons of endings. Not extinction. Resolution. Human command prepared a final strategy. It would not destroy the Dominion. It would remove its ability to rule through fear. As the Dominion's main fleet gathered for a final push, humanity moved all remaining forces into position. Allies shared data. Hidden routes opened. Timing mattered. Everything depended on one moment. When the fleets finally met, space itself seemed to shake. The battle was massive, chaotic, and unforgiving. Stars were blocked by fire and debris. Human forces held the line long enough. Then the plan activated. Across Dominion space, control systems failed. Command hierarchies collapsed. Artificial intelligence cores shut down, overridden by signals no one else could decode. The Dominion fleet froze. Weapons went silent. Not disabled. Locked. For the first time in their history, the First Dominion could not give orders to its own. Ships. Panic spread through their ranks. Human ships did not advance. They waited. The message that followed was broadcast across the galaxy. Not from Earth alone, from every world that had joined the stand. We do not seek your destruction. Step down. Release your control. The age of fear ends now. The galaxy held its breath. The war was not over, but the end had begun. The silence after the broadcast felt heavier than the battle itself across Dominion space. Fleets drifted without orders. Captains waited for commands that never came. For a power built on control, this was worse than defeat within the First Dominion's core world. Leaders argued in panic. Some demanded manual overrides. Others feared that any wrong move would trigger total collapse. Their authority, once absolute, was slipping away. Human fleets stayed in position. They did not fire. This restraint confused many allies. Some feared the Dominion was stalling, buying time to recover control. Others trusted humanity's plan. The senior human commander watched the situation closely. He knew the lock would not last forever. The systems humanity had used were powerful, but they were not magic. Time was limited. A final decision had to be made. A small human delegation prepared to enter Dominion space under protection. Not soldiers, negotiators, engineers, observers. Many thought it was madness. But humanity understood something the Dominion never had. Fear could not be erased by force alone. The delegation reached the Dominion capital without resistance. Automated defenses ignored them, still locked by human control. Inside vast halls older than Earth's oldest cities, Dominion leaders waited. They expected demands. They received an offer. Human representatives spoke plainly. The Dominion would keep its worlds, its people, its culture, but its system of rule would end. No more forced obedience. No more destruction as warning. In return, humanity would release control and withdraw its fleets. The Dominion leaders laughed. Then they noticed something outside their capital. Across thousands of systems, uprisings had already begun. Worlds were breaking free. Dominion symbols were falling. Their power was already gone. The choice before them was simple, and with dignity, or end completely. As negotiations continued, the war flared one last time. A rogue Dominion admiral, refusing surrender, managed to regain partial control of a strike fleet. He launched a direct attack toward Earth, driven by hatred and pride. Human sensors detected the move instantly. The Supercarrier turned. It moved faster than it ever had before. Human command knew the cost. The carrier could intercept, but not without exposing its weakened core systems. Damage would be severe. The order was given anyway. The carrier placed itself between Earth and the incoming fleet. The battle was short and violent. Human escorts fought desperately. The carrier absorbed blow after blow. Shields failed layer by layer. Hull sections burned. Crew members died holding stations to the last second. Finally, the carrier fired everything it had left. The rogue fleet was destroyed, but the carrier was broken. Power faded across its decks. Fire spread. Evacuation orders echoed through damaged carters. Escape craft launched in waves. The senior commander stayed behind. He watched the stars through shattered screens as the carrier drifted. Mission complete. Earth was safe. Moments later, the carrier went dark. Across the galaxy, the effect was immediate. The Dominion leaders felt the loss like a physical blow. Humanity had paid a price, a heavy one. Negotiations ended. The Dominion surrendered authority. Human control systems disengaged. Fleets stood down. Fighting stopped across known space. The war was over. In the quiet that followed, recovery began. Worlds rebuilt. Orders changed. Old fears faded slowly. Earth mourned its dead. The Supercarrier was declared lost. Its name spoken with respect and silence. It had never been meant to survive forever. It had been meant to buy a future, and it had succeeded. As the galaxy adjusted to a new balance, one truth remained clear. Humanity had not won by domination. It had won by choosing sacrifice over fear. And the final chapter was yet to be written. The galaxy did not celebrate the end of the war. There were no grand parades, no songs sung across the stars. Too many worlds had burned. Too many lives were gone. Victory felt quiet, heavy, and thoughtful. Earth led by example. Human fleets withdrew from foreign systems once stability returned. No territories were claimed. No tribute was demanded. Instead, human teams helped rebuild stations, restore trade routes, and reconnect lost worlds. This surprised everyone. The old belief was that power always demanded reward. Humanity broke that rule as completely as it had broken the first Dominion. A new council formed slowly. It was not centered on Earth, nor controlled by any single species. Smaller worlds had equal voices. Decisions required patience, not force. Humanity refused permanent leadership. They offered guidance. The Dominion's former core worlds were given time to heal. Their people were not punished for the actions of their rulers. Former Dominion leaders were removed quietly and placed under watch, not execution. Justice replaced revenge. On Earth, the loss of the Supercarrier was honored without pride. Memorials were simple. Names were engraved in stone, not light. Humanity remembered sacrifice more than strength. The senior commander did not attend public ceremonies. He retired from service and disappeared from public life. Some said he returned to the oceans. Others believed he lived quietly among civilians. It did not matter. His work was done. Years passed. Children across many worlds grew up hearing stories of the war. Not tales of conquest, but of restraint. Of a species that could have ruled, but chose not to. New threats rose from time to time. Pirates, warlords, old grudges. But none grew into empires of fear. Again, because the galaxy had learned. Earth had shown what true power looked like. Not endless fleets. Not eternal rule, but the strength to stop when victory was possible. Deep in space, far from trade lanes, a silent structure drifted among the stars. It was the Supercarrier, scarred, broken, but not destroyed. Its core systems were dormant, protecting one final record. Not a weapon, not a command, a message. It contained the history of humanity's choices. Every decision made during the war, every restraint shown, every life saved where destruction was easier. One day, explorers from a distant, unknown species would find it. They would expect a warning. Instead, they would find a lesson. that humanity had stood at the edge of absolute power and stepped back. The galaxy did not freeze again. It moved forward. Together. And in that future, Earth was not remembered as the strongest world. It was remembered as the one that ended the age of fear.